the show you weren't in. I wasn't searching for anything weird, just late night scrolling, letting the algorithm decide what I should watch next. You know the drill. Cat videos, cooking fails, those oddly satisfying paint mixing clips. Then a thumbnail caught my eye. A park. One I knew. Not just vaguely familiar. I knew that bench, that tree with the weird split trunk, the old slide that always leaned a little to the left. It was the park near my middle school. I clicked. The video title was in lowercase. Us in Summer, 2009. The video started with shaky handheld footage, the kind you get from an old camcorder. Kids running. Someone off-screen laughing. And then I showed up. Or someone who looked exactly like me. Same lopsided smile. Same chipped front tooth I didn't get fixed until high school. Same mole near the left eyebrow. It was like watching a version of myself I had no memory of. A perfect stranger who shared my face. I sat frozen. The kid, me I guess, was talking to someone behind the camera, joking, making stupid poses. Then he looked straight at the lens and said, "Don't forget me, okay?" I checked the upload date, 5 years ago, which didn't line up. In 2009, I was living in another city entirely. That park was across the state. I'd never been there during that summer, and certainly hadn't been filmed. I scrolled down to the comments. God, I miss this. He was the best part of the group. R.I.P., man. You'll never be forgotten. Anyone know what happened to the guy in the red shirt? My stomach turned. I clicked on the uploader's profile. They hadn't posted in years. When I messaged them, I got a quick auto reply. This account belongs to a deceased user. We cannot offer further information. Okay, maybe it was a deepfake? But who would go through that much trouble for a blurry home video? And why use my face? And if it was a fake, why did I remember that slide? That tree? 2 days later, I got a text. No number, just unknown. It said, script for next shoot, final episode. Character, you. Location, park. Wardrobe, red shirt. Call time, 3:14 p.m. I stared at it for a long time. That was the exact time I'd started watching the video. The exact outfit I'd worn that day, randomly, without thinking. I didn't reply, but my phone pinged again that night. A photo. Me. Sitting on the park bench. Today. Smiling. Only I hadn't gone outside. And that bench? It was gone years ago. They removed it when they redid the park, but there it was in the photo. Still chipped, still slanted, still waiting. The door that couldn't be closed. I bought the house because of the price. That was it. 80 years old, they said. Old bones, but good ones. Fully renovated. New kitchen, fresh paint, updated electrical. The kind of listing that screams, ignore the age, it's basically new. Except for one door. It was tucked away at the end of the hallway, past the bathroom, past the laundry closet. A plain white door with a matte black iron handle. Nothing special, but it wouldn't stay shut. First day, it was closed. Second day, it was slightly ajar. By the third, it was wide open. Every time I passed it, I closed it. Every time I came back, it was open again. I checked the latch, the hinges. Everything seemed fine. I figured maybe it was the humidity warping the wood. Old house quirks, you know. I tried some quick fixes, tightening screws, sanding the edge, even wedging a chair against it overnight. Still, every morning. Open. Chair untouched. Door wide. Like it was waiting for me. So I got serious. I replaced the knob. Installed a new latch. reinforced the frame with a deadbolt, even bought one of those wedge alarms you put under hotel doors. It screamed bloody murder at 2:17 a.m. I jumped out of bed, heart pounding, and sprinted to the hallway. The door was open. Alarm still in place, not tripped, just screaming for no reason. I turned it off and shut the door again. Stared at it for a while. It just sat there, plain and quiet. The next day, I called a contractor. He inspected everything. The frame, the walls, the floor. Nothing warped. Nothing loose. Honestly, he said, rubbing his chin, if it won't stay closed, maybe it's not supposed to. He laughed. I didn't. I started avoiding that end of the hall, which sucked because the guest bathroom was over there, and I drink way too much coffee. But every time I passed the door, it felt off, like it was listening, waiting. I finally caved and bought a night vision camera, motion activated. No cloud, just local storage. I set it up across the hallway, pointed right at the door. The footage that night was boring until it wasn't. Nothing for hours, just shadows shifting, dust floating. Then, at 3:13 a.m., the door creaked open. Slow, deliberate. No sudden pop like pressure released. It was like someone on the other side was opening it gently. Then a shape moved inside. A man. Not just a man. Me. Same hair, same hoodie, same pajama pants. He stood there in the dark room, staring straight into the camera. At me. Through the screen. Then he reached out and slowly began to close the door. And the video cut to black. No error, no static, just black. I watched it over and over, sent it to a friend who was into paranormal stuff. He thought it was fake, said I must have doctored it, but I didn't. I couldn't. The next night, I sat in the hallway myself. No camera, just me, a cup of coffee, and a hammer I didn't really know how to use. 3 a.m., nothing. 3:10, a creak like floorboards shifting. 3:13, the handle turned. I held my breath. The door opened, and there he was again. Me. But this time, I could see more of the room. It wasn't the guest room anymore. It was just darkness, not unlit, empty, like the concept of space had stopped. He stared at me. I stared back. I should have run, closed the door, burned the house down maybe, but instead, I stood up, walked forward. I don't know why. Curiosity, compulsion, some sense that if I didn't go in, he might come out. I stepped through the threshold. The air was cold, not like winter, but like breath on your neck. I turned around. The door was still open. I could see the hallway, my hallway, lit by the cheap overhead light I always meant to replace. Then he moved. The other me. He reached out and closed the door. I ran to it, pounded, screamed, but no sound came out. Not really. Just this muffled thud, like yelling into a dream. The darkness swallowed everything. I don't know how long I was in there. Minutes? Hours. It felt like floating in ink. Then the door creaked open again. Light spilled in, but I wasn't standing in the doorway. He was. Me. Again. But now wearing my clothes from earlier that day. Holding my phone, looking confused, then smug. "Thanks," he said. "You fixed the latch." And he shut the door again. I woke up in my bed. Or thought I did. Everything looked right. Felt right. until I walked down the hall and saw the door. Still closed. No matter what I do now, it won't open. It's like it never did. But sometimes at night, around 3:13 a.m., I hear footsteps on the other side, trying to get out, trying to get back in. Mother's second house. I inherited a house from my mom after she passed. It wasn't the one we grew up in. It was a second house, one she never told anyone about. I only found out because of the will, a property listed under her name, a few towns over. No mortgage, no tenants, no records of visits, just a house. When I got the keys from the lawyer, he looked uncomfortable, said something like, "She asked me not to mention it unless absolutely necessary." Guess her death qualified. I drove there the next day. It was a plain 2-story white siding, overgrown front lawn. The mailbox was stuffed with flyers. No name on it. Just a number, 117. When I opened the front door, something hit me instantly. It wasn't smell. It wasn't even the look of the place. It was the familiarity. Every piece of furniture was exactly like what Mom had in her house. Same beige couch, same scratched up coffee table, same dusty bookshelf with the leaning rows of paperbacks. But that wasn't the weird part. The milk in the fridge had a sell-by date of tomorrow. Her favorite jam was open. The calendar on the wall had dates marked. Appointments that hadn't happened yet. Everything was current. There was even a shopping list on the counter in her handwriting. Same cursive, same habit of underlining cat food twice. But Mom didn't have a cat. At least not in the house I knew. I checked the second floor. Bedrooms were clean, beds made. In one of them, there was a book open on the nightstand, her glasses resting next to it. I went back downstairs, sat on the couch. It creaked just like hers did. It felt like sitting in a memory that was still happening. I told myself maybe she used the place for weekends. Maybe it was a getaway she kept secret. That would explain the freshness of everything, right? Except the neighbor I talked to said he never saw anyone coming or going. "She's dead?" he asked, genuinely shocked. I thought that place was abandoned. Been years. When I asked how long he'd lived next door, he said 12 years. He'd never seen her, never heard anything. I slept there that night, not sure why. Maybe I felt like being close to her. Maybe I didn't want to drive back. Around 2 a.m., I heard something upstairs. A soft bump, then another. I froze. My phone was on the coffee table. No service. I grabbed a flashlight and crept up the stairs. The hallway was dark, except for a faint light coming from one of the bedrooms. It was the room with the glasses and the book. The door was ajar. I pushed it open slowly. And there she was. Mom. Sitting on the bed, looking right at me. Her face didn't show surprise or fear, just disappointment. "I told you not to come here," she said. Her voice was the same, soft, a little raspy, just like I remembered. I couldn't move. "You weren't supposed to see this place," she said. "It's not yours." My mouth opened, but no words came out. She stood up. Her body looked thin, almost translucent, like she was a reflection in a window. "I'll have to move again," she said, almost to herself. Then she was gone. No flicker, no fade. Just gone. The room was empty, the bed undisturbed. The glasses gone. I ran out of the house. Didn't even lock the door. Drove home, shaking. The next day, I returned. Everything was gone. Furniture, fridge items, books. Gone. The house was stripped bare. No signs of anyone ever living there. The neighbor said He never saw me leave the day before. Said the house had been empty for years. I don't know what I saw. I don't know if I was supposed to see it. But sometimes when I'm falling asleep, I hear a voice like hers. Not from a dream, from upstairs.